This being your third season, it seems like you've been a lot more assertive or spicy this year.
Think so? I'm not really spicy. That's good. I mean, I feel like for me, it's just my approach. It's just coming in and just trying to be dominant in anything the team needs. And so if that gives off spicy, which I really don't think it does, I feel like I'm like kind of quiet.
Spice?
No, I just not spicy. But yeah, I feel like that's just been my mindset, is just coming in and just being the player that I need to be for us. Whatever that looks like, it looks like.
What happens when a team built around a single savior suddenly loses her? The Indiana Fever were supposed to be the Caitlin Clark show, but when their superstar vanished, a different leader emerged from the shadows with a message so powerful it saved their season. This isn't just a story about a playoff berth. It's about how the death of one dream gave birth to an identity nobody saw coming.
Playoffs! Dub!
That's how we clinch, baby!
We can't! W. Playoffs! Bow, bow, bow! Yeah! Playoffs, baby!
Mitchell in transition, lays that up and in for our first bucket of the game. Sims off the cross again into the paint, lays it up and in.
The entire basketball world held its breath the day the news broke. Caitlin Clark, the phenom who was single-handedly rewriting the future of the Indiana Fever, was done for the season. A torn groin not only sidelined their biggest star, but according to every analyst, it was the final nail in the coffin for their playoff dreams. The hype, the sold-out arenas, the hope, it all seemed to evaporate in an instant. The shockwave was felt not just in Indiana, but across the entire league.
When you think back to the beginning of the season, if someone were to tell you, like, this is where you would be, this is your team, like, at the end of the season, like, genuinely, what do you think the reaction would be?
Probably no stinking way. I don't think, thinking back to the beginning of the season, that anyone would have ever foreseen it going like this.
But Clark wasn't the only one. The team's injury report read like a casualty list from a war zone. It was a brutal, relentless domino effect. Sophie Cunningham, a key shooter and veteran presence, went down with a knee injury. Chloe Bibby, another floor spacer, was also done with a knee injury. Sydney Cosin, a reliable guard, was sidelined. And then Ari McDonald, a crucial backcourt piece, was finished with a foot injury. The roster wasn't just depleted, it was gutted. 5 core players gone. Most teams would have folded right then and there.
Even if things looked like it got harder, for us it was about sticking together. And I think through everything, you're able to see that, us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that floor.
What the public didn't see was the chaos that had been brewing all season long, even when they were healthy. The pressure of the Caitlin Clark media circus was immense, an unprecedented phenomenon in the WNBA. While the cameras loved her, the locker room was navigating the difficult task of building chemistry while the entire world dissected their every move, every pass, and every loss. The team was struggling to find its footing long before the injuries ever hit.
For whatever reason, things happen, and you've got to continue to put your best foot forward. You got to continue to stay the course. This group has been forced to grow strong roots, and teams can go one of two ways when those things happen. You either use it to pull you together and as motivation to continue to get better and do it for one another and do it for your teammates that have been lost to injury, or it pulls some teams apart.
But the pressure wasn't just from the media, it was coming from their opponents on the court. From the very first game, a target was painted on Clark's back. She was relentlessly hounded, bumped, and hit with cheap shots disguised as welcome to the league physicality. This aggressive strategy wasn't just about stopping one player, it was designed to disrupt Indiana's entire rhythm and send a message. This constant barrage made the team fragile and reactive, creating a chaotic environment where they were always on their heels.
When I look at this group, I'm just so incredibly thankful for the type of people that we have in this locker room, for the way that they have been able to continue to stay the course and bounce back and stay together, to pull for one another, to really be flexible enough to make space for different types of teams that we've had throughout the course of the year, and to continue to put ourselves in position.
The front office was forced into a desperate, frantic scramble just to field a team. Indiana ended up suiting up an astonishing 18 different players over the course of the season. The constant rotation of hardship signings, with players flying in on a day's notice, made them look less like a cohesive unit and more like a team holding open tryouts in the middle of a playoff race. It was a clear sign of pure, unadulterated desperation.
Inside Howard, off the window, the bucket, and the foul. Petty three, knocks it down again. Lost the handle, gets it back, gets right to the hoop, and she drops it home.
Fever 94, Mystics 65. Indiana's in. And now you know, despite all the adversity, this incredibly resilient Fever team is going back to the playoffs in 2025.
That's when Coach Stephanie White made a critical season-altering decision. With her roster in absolute shambles, she threw out the complex playbook designed around Clark. She simplified the system, shortened the rotations, and focused her remaining players on one thing and one thing only: survival. She didn't try to gloss over the adversity. Instead, she leaned into it, reminding her group just how tough they were, both physically and mentally.
And more than anything, y'all, big picture-wise, this group, there would have been so many teams that would have folded with all we've been through. And we just kept getting better, and we kept getting tougher, and we kept becoming more resilient, and we kept figuring things out, right? Like, we've had like 7 new teams throughout the course of this season. and no matter what, we've been flexible, we've been accountable, we've put each other in positions to be successful, and we've continued to put one foot forward and stay the course.
Out of that chaos, a new and powerful identity was born. The next woman up mantra stopped being a tired sports cliche and became their raw, unfiltered reality. With no superstar to defer to, every single player on the floor had to carry the weight. This shared burden didn't break them. It forged them into a hardened, resilient, and unpredictable unit that was far more dangerous than anyone realized.
You just don't know what she's going to do. I mean, she's so crafty with her shot decisions. Howard right to the hoop, high out the window. And she's slicing through that paint. Aims for back tap, it ends up with aerial powers. Inside Howard, off the window, the bucket, and the foul by the rookie all-star Sonia Citron. Howard quickly back to the right line, back at 34.
Their final test came on the road in Washington against the Mystics. This wasn't just another game on the schedule. It was for a playoff spot, a chance to prove that everything they had endured, the injuries, the doubts, the chaos, wasn't for nothing. A loss would validate every doubter who said they were finished the moment Caitlin Clark left the court. The air was thick with tension.
Jolson had to stay home because she had an occupied side. In terms of a cutter in her area, she stayed. Petty three, knocks it down again. Flip it. He's just such a solid stabilizer for Washington. Howard right to the hoop, lays it up and in. Fourth foul on Austin. Boston down low. Double tongue, drops off to Howard, who lays it up and in.
First half was a tense, grinding, back-and-forth battle. Indiana's offense looked shaky, and that nervous energy was palpable. It felt like the dream was on the absolute verge of slipping away, as the Mystics matched them shot for shot, refusing to give an inch and feeding off their own home crowd. It was a nail-biter, and for a moment it looked like the pressure might be too much.
So Craves in there, get off and get loose. Mitchell three off the mark, long rebound ends up with Sims. It's Sims, nice pocket pass. Boston foul line jumper.
And just when it seemed like the Fever would...
But then, the third quarter happened. The Fever came out of the locker room a different team. They unleashed a defensive storm that didn't just slow down the Mystics, it completely suffocated them, choking the life out of their offense. Washington scored a pathetic 9 points in the entire frame. Every pass was contested, every shot was challenged, every dribble was harassed. It was a brutal, physical, and masterful display of a team that had decided, collectively, that they would not be denied.
Austin got that rebound. Here's Powers. Lost the handle, gets it back, gets right to the hoop. There she drops it home. 8 on the shot clock here for Citron. So free screen that. And then they got the switch they want. Oh, couldn't get it in. Tough turnover there for Washington. The loose ball collected by Dolson as Citron brings it over half. Powers in the passing lane. No one to beat. Lays it up and in. See if they can get back to that and connect plays and stack possessions with that level of effectiveness.
With the defense locking things down, the offense finally came alive. Veteran Natasha Howard, a champion with a pedigree for big moments, stepped up and took control. She poured in a game-high 17 points, punishing Washington inside with a series of relentless post moves and tough finishes. She played with the urgency and poise of someone who knew exactly what was at stake.
Of finishing plays. Here's Paul, guarded by Citron. Hanging, fading, kicks off the glass. My goodness. Be better served. Maybe 4 out, 1 in, and have him take turns with it. Oh. Clips them 3.
Then came the unexpected spark off the bench that turned the game into a rout. Ariel Powers, a player who had been fighting for her role all season, erupted with 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. She brought an infectious, relentless energy that lifted the entire team, hitting big shots and making crucial plays. She was the instant firepower they desperately needed to blow the game wide open.
Sanders also back for the Fever. Here's Petty in the corner. He knocks it down.
But this victory wasn't about 1 or 2 heroes. It was about an army. It was a total team effort that showcased their newfound identity. Lexi Hull was a defensive menace, diving for loose balls and creating transition opportunities out of sheer grit. Shea Petty, another player who stepped into a bigger role, caught fire from deep, going a perfect 3 for 3 and stretching the floor. This was their strength in numbers on full display.
Thanks to Alicia Clark and Jade Stevens with the philosophy and culture and playing with joy as being the top tier point of emphasis there. Mitchell in transition lays that up and in for our first bucket of the game.
And among the unsung heroes was the team's longest tenured player, Kelsey Mitchell. After years of being the Fever's #1 option, she had to graciously step back to accommodate Clark's arrival. Then, when the injuries hit, she was asked to step up once again, navigating a constantly shifting role with quiet professionalism. Her steadying presence in the backcourt, even on an off-shooting night, was the glue that held them together.
I'm so proud of you guys. I mean, this was, we owned them in the second half.
Hell yeah!
27 total points we had them to in the second half. 27 points off of turnovers.
Hell yeah!
And we took care of it. Only 7 turnovers for us. A complete team effort, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double figures. I mean, it was just all really good stuff. Really good stuff.
It all culminated in a box score that told the story of their transformation. With 5 different players scoring in double figures, Indiana proved they were no longer a one-woman show. They had become a balanced, unpredictable, and democratic offensive machine, impossible for opponents to game plan against.
Aliyah, just through the adversity that you guys went through this season, especially maybe in August when people were going down left and right, did you guys feel like this was always possible to make the playoffs? Did you ever have moments of concern or doubt? And what allowed you guys to just keep, the eyes on the prize more or less?
Yeah, I think, just being someone in this locker room, you never doubt yourself and what you're capable of, no matter what happens. I think the entire staff, up to the head, just made great decisions when people went down on who to bring in, the type of people to bring in. And that was really our mindset. We never doubted ourselves. We never doubted that we could be in the playoffs. Even if things looked like it got harder, for us, it was about sticking together. And I think through everything, you're able to see that, us play with joy, us play together, regardless of who's on that floor.
The eye test told a story of dominance, but the numbers screamed it. The turnover battle was a massacre. The Mystics coughed the ball up a staggering 22 times, and the Fever mercilessly converted those mistakes into 27 points. Indiana, by contrast, played a clean, disciplined game, giving the ball away only 6 times all night. It wasn't just that they outscored Washington, they systematically drained every ounce of hope from them by capitalizing on every single mistake.
Likes to get into their offense. You see Jade Melvin getting that defensive assignment on Mitchell. She picked her up pretty much 3/4 court. Boston, baseline jumper, falls. That's the advantage with Mitchell guarding her. 11-0 run right now for Washington. Boston got that baseline, misses, gets her own. And finish it.
And at the center of it all, the unwavering anchor, was Aliyah Boston. She delivered yet another dominant business-like double-double, her 17th of the season, which broke the franchise record for a single season. With 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists, she was the steady, calming force that held them together through every storm. Her presence was felt on every single possession.
How would you describe the locker room after the game today, just being able to sell? Well, we didn't make a TikTok, so I think everyone is just super excited. Like you said, it hasn't been a perfect road. And so for us, it's enjoying the little moments while at the same time understanding we have another game on Tuesday and then we have to prepare for the playoffs. But I think just being in the moment and being where our feet are and kind of just enjoying this one.
This wasn't the same in Aliyah Boston from her rookie year. That player was a promising, polished newcomer. The Aliyah Boston of this season was different. She had transformed into the team's undisputed emotional and statistical core. In a season defined by chaos and instability, she became the calm in the storm, the steady heartbeat that the entire team relied on. Her maturity far exceeds her years.
Got a piece of glass for the finish there. Boston seal inside, comes right back for the finish.
After the game, in the privacy of the locker room, Boston gathered her exhausted but elated teammates. The celebration was buzzing, but she cut through the noise. She looked them in the eyes and delivered the simple but powerful mantra that had become their secret fuel all along. Never doubt yourself and what you're capable of. Those weren't just empty, motivational words. That message was a direct shot at the entire league, at every fan, every pundit, and every analyst who had written them off the exact moment Clark went down. It was a fierce declaration that this team's heart was still beating, and it was stronger than ever.
And we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Okay, we got another one on Tuesday, and in the playoffs, ain't nobody gonna want to see us. No one is gonna want to see us. That's right. Nobody. I'm not gonna sing it, but yes. Okay. So we continue to focus on competing to the standard, preparing to the standard. All right, and then we scare the hell out of this league. Hell yeah. Come on. Here we go. Hell yeah. 3, 1, 2, 3. Hell yeah.
Boston's unique leadership was on full display. When a reporter asked about the mood after the win, she laughed and candidly admitted, "Well, we did make a TikTok," showing the fun-loving side that connects with her young teammates. But she instantly shifted gears, reminding everyone that the job wasn't done and the playoffs required even more focus. That perfect blend of joy and business is why she's become the undisputed soul of this team.
I feel proud. I feel proud of these women and what they've been able to continue to do. I feel proud that we continue to raise the standard for ourselves and for one another. But I'm also, I look at this group and the roots that have been grown throughout the course of this season, and thinking about, not just where we are now and the opportunity that we have in the playoffs, but where we're going to be in the future.
It all leads to a controversial but fascinating question that's being whispered around the league. Was losing Caitlin Clark actually the best thing that could have happened to the Indiana Fever this season? Her devastating injury, in a strange way, may have been a blessing in disguise. It forced the rest of the roster to grow up fast and forge a powerful identity built on grit, trust, and collective responsibility. Now, a brutal road lies ahead in the postseason. Their likely round 1 opponents, Atlanta, Las Vegas, or Phoenix, are all giants of the league, stacked with all-stars and championship experience. But this Fever team is no longer the fragile, star-struck group from the start of the season. They are a battle-hardened, fearless unit forged in the fires of unimaginable adversity. But beyond the brutal matchups and hostile road games lies a prize nearly a decade in the making, a home playoff game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. For the first time since 2016, postseason basketball is returning to Indianapolis. That roar from the home crowd won't just be for a win, it will be a celebration of this team's incredible heart, a thank you for a journey nobody believed was possible. The story of the 2025 Indiana Fever was never truly about one player. It was about a team that was stripped down to its very core, only to discover a foundation of toughness they never knew they had. They flipped the script from a tragic story of loss to one of incredible resilience, and it begs the ultimate question: if this is what they can do with half a roster, what will they become when they are finally whole again?